What's up, guys? I'm sorry to keep you waiting. You have come to the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I've been talking to myself for the past 5 minutes because I never hit the go live button. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna get good news here from the other room shortly. So there is a slight delay. I think it's about 15 seconds or so. So I'm waiting for confirmation that you can hear me and you can see me. And so I don't spend the next 5 minutes here talking to myself, going through. It was a good run through because I was messing up all kinds of stuff. So I appreciate the little extra thing here. Can I get some confirmation? If you can hear me, just put a thumbs up in the chat if you could. That would confirm that I'm not wasting my time and that I should be really looking for technical. All right, I got the thumbs up. Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that I have something to teach you or to show you and to help you hop over some obstacles that I may have tripped over on the way to creating my comic book series Alpha Red. I'm the creator of Alpha Red. I've been doing it for 10 years, but I've been trying to break into comics for 30 years. So maybe not quite that long, but almost that long. So I was a teenager way back 30 years ago, young whippersnapper that I am. Actually, I was 19, so maybe I was trying to break in way back when. But I'm going to tell you I'm going to answer some of the questions that I've been asked here in the past couple of weeks. If you guys have, if you can't hear me, let me know. I can try to speak into the mic more, or I can turn up some things. Maybe I can mess with the volume of things. So, but yeah, please, if you have any questions, I only have a couple of questions that I'm going to go through tonight. I'm counting on you guys to ask me some questions, and I was surprised at how basic some of the questions I got were. So that really kind of sparked inspired me to create this live stream so that you would have a way to just be able to ask someone. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I know you feel like it's a stupid question, but you're like, what do you do next? That's what somebody said to me. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, I got the story, I got the art, I got, everything's ready. It's ready to go. Now what? I'm like, what do you mean now what? You get the book printed. He goes, how do you do that? So I was like, wow, good. Well, let's get down to it. So I did tell him, you find a printer. There's a couple of them out there. I'll give you some recommendations based on the two that I use right now. One currently, one not so current, just because my current publisher, Starcross, uses these people right here, Print Universe, Digital Print Universe. Let me show you here. Oh, let me throw up the other thing here. No. You guys aren't supposed to see that yet. All right. Let me move this back over here. So, Digital Print Universe is who I use to print. And they are one of the options, and I'll tell you a little bit why. I'm going to tell you who I used to use, Kablam. And Kablam still has copies, digital. I mean, I can still, if I wanted to, order from them, and they have my files in their records, and they could just print them out for me if I wanted to also. But each digital printer, on-demand printer, is going to have their own specifications. So each comic here, if you don't know, these are things that they're like, what do you mean? I scanned them in. They're 11 by 17. The drawing area is 10 by 15. Those are the typical drawing dimensions for a typical comic. Now, in the day and age that we live, that everything's digital. The scans are fantastic. You can get really high resolution scans, so you don't have to go as big. And if you've been following me, you know that I am going smaller on the size of my artwork. So, but people sometimes think that you draw this small. So a regular comic here, Since maybe you can't see it, but it's 6.5 roughly, 6 3/4 by 10.5, I believe, is a typical size. Yep, 10.5. But what happens when you send in your files to the printer is that they have a template that they need you to fit, so that their system, every system is a little bit different. So each on-demand printer, that's another thing I should have mentioned, that there's a difference between on-demand, offset printing, and web printing. If you go into the comment section, I pinned a live stream that Peter Smetti did over at his Comic Book Radio, telling you all the different kinds of printing. He does a deep dive into all that stuff. And even though Alterna does newsprint, and most comics are no longer newsprint, they're on this 70-pound glossy stuff, he walks you through. He suggests that you start from the end and work your way back to the beginning. So if you want a normal size comic, you do some research with the printer and say, what size do you need? And so what they're going to do is they're going to give you a template. And they give you a template for, let me switch back over here. They'll give you a template that is larger. So just use this old one here. The art size will be larger. I don't remember what it is for either one. I just have templates in my computer, and I've already reformatted them. It is the most boring part of creating comic books, is reformatting your files. It's laborious. It's long, and it's boring, and it sucks the life out of you. But the printers don't want to do it any more than you do, and they don't even charge you to do it. They just say, it's not ready, we're not going to print it. So you have to sit there and do it anyway. So you got to figure out what the printer wants and how to get it to them. So they'll have a size that is much bigger, and it'll be, I think it's called the bleed. So the bleed is as big as the file they need, and then they'll give you a size that is the trim, because they're going to cut that size. So don't draw anything past those sizes. So let's just grab a page here. This exciting page of Alpha Red. If you haven't picked it up yet, alpharedcomic.com will get you a copy of this here comic. Maybe even this one. Maybe I'll send it this one right now. I'm kidding. But the size will be higher, like this, and that will be the bleed. And then this will be the trim. That means they're going to cut off anything. So if your picture sticks out past that template, it's going to get chopped off. And then they give you the live area, which is where they guarantee that if it's within that live area, nothing's going to happen to it. So see, I had this full bleed over here, and so I stuck his shoulder and his Alpha Red shoulder and hip thing outside of here, because I wanted him to break the panel. I wanted that's something that I was trying to do. And even on the other side here, I knew that his arm here was going to break the panel. So you plan for that stuff, and you take the printer's size template into consideration when you send them the file and you're reformatting. Because to change from Kablam over to Digital Print Universe, they use different files. They use different sizes. I had to spend, I don't know how long. It took me so long. That's partially why we released it one book at a time on Starcross Comics, because it takes 2 or 3 hours for me to reformat everything and shrink it just the right size to follow the template of the new on-demand printer. So I didn't want to lose any of the details. Like this is the same page. This is the Digital Print Universe one, and I wanted it to match up with the Kablam one. So this was one of the questions that I got. So I know it seems basic, but I was surprised. See how it's cut off. There's the gutter here is in the same place, or in the right place there. And so both of them have very similar. You wouldn't even be able to tell if I told you that they were from two different on-demand printers. So there's lots of them out there. I've only tried 3, and one of them is out of business. So I didn't even know about the current one that I'm using, Digital Print Universe, until I signed on with Starcross Comics. So this Kablam is fine. If you can get Digital Print Universe, it is really Image Now, and you just have to email Aaron at imagenowbymahar.com. So it's not as user friendly, but Kablam isn't either. It's a very clunky website, so you have to navigate that. You kind of have to know how to save your stuff beforehand. It's kind of frustrating, but it can be, I mean, you just get used to it. And if you create enough comic books, you're going to be able to understand what they're asking for. And that's why it was easy enough for me to stick with Kablam until Digital Print Universe came along. And now I'm just used to that as well. So I don't know if you guys, is the stream still working? Okay, it looked like it was glitching. So hopefully it wasn't bad. So that was one of the questions that I got. That was that I thought was kind of basic. And the other one, I get a lot of questions about Kickstarter, and man, there are just many avenues to create a comic book. You know, to go from the idea in your head to the finished product. You know, you have your you get your artist, right? You get your story, you write it down, you get the art drawn, you find a colorist, you get it colored, you get it lettered, and then what? You find a printer, you print it, and then you got to figure out, are people going to buy it? Where do I go to show it to people? How do I get it in front of eyeballs? That's where it's useful to work backward. You figure out who the printer is. Even before you write the comic, you got to make sure that you know who your people are. Who am I writing to? Who is going to pick up my comic book? And to be honest, I didn't think about it too much when I started Alpha Red, but as with each issue, I understood, hey, I'm writing it to a family, or I'm creating a family-friendly, Christian-based comic, and I know that there are people who want a safe comic, and I know that there are lots of Christians out there who feel like they can't enjoy their comic books because there's too much nudity, sexuality and cursing and violence. So I know that there is a market out there. I don't know how big it is, but I know that people who buy my comic are very grateful that it exists, so that they can feel safe to hand it to their kid. They don't have to worry that there's boobs and cursing and whatever. So it's just very run-of-the-mill as far as social stuff, but it has a lot of action, and it has some humor, and so that's the gist of what I had for today. I was hoping that you guys had more to ask. I'm going to go through some other stuff then, if you don't mind, and as I wait for you guys to come up with questions. I'll talk about the Hershey Comic Con. Hershey Comic Con, was it good? Was it bad? You know, I don't have the final numbers of what I made. I do have just some round numbers. I don't have a video planned because it was it's been so busy the past couple of weeks that every time I was ready to pull out the camera and kind of document what was going on, something else would pop up and It just wasn't happening. So I won't have a video. So I'm gonna just lay it out for you right here based on the count that I have. I have my stack of cash over here. My Square app just told me how much money that they're gonna send. I got some PayPal, and so I can break down those numbers, how much I paid, how many I sold, and what the profit looked like. So it was a 2-day show. It was down in Grantville, Pennsylvania. Now Grantville it was billed as the Hershey Comic Con, but it was held in Grantville at the Grantville Holiday Inn, which is the Hershey Holiday Inn, the Hershey Harrisburg Holiday Inn, and it was a great location as far as location goes. It felt like the convention could have been bigger because there were so many people there, and it could have been laid out better, but there were a lot of people through the door, and the people were buying, and the people seemed happy. I went through and downloaded a bunch of pictures off of Facebook, and I was trying to create a slideshow, but I had work today too, so I couldn't put together a slideshow and kind of walk you through it. But if you jump on Facebook, type in Hershey Comic Con, all kinds of cool, fun things occurred in the past over the past weekend on Saturday and on Sunday. Now Saturday was much busier as far as people as from what I could tell. It was really kind of I don't want to curse his elbows to you know what. But yeah, it was kind of just stacked, and I made most of the money that I made on the first day. On the second day, I only made about $100, but that was fine because I made $550 on the first day, and I made about $100 the second day, actually a little bit more. So all in total, I brought home $675, and I sold approximately 65-ish books, and I am counting with each. Let me see if I have it. Which with each trade paperback, I don't have it with me. Are all 5 issues of Alpha Red, and I sold 4 of those. That's 20 copies, and I sold about 40 individual copies of Alpha Red, mostly Alpha Red #1. So that's kind of it's cool, but it's not cool. I wish they would have bought the whole series, but they were willing to give it a try. You have to sell. You have to be out there, and you have to sell. All right, looks like I got my first question here. Hi, thanks for this. What's the lowest quantity those printers will print? So the Kablam has no minimum. You can print 1 if you wanted to. There's a setup fee, so you send it in, and they make sure that the format is right, and whatever they have to do, whatever the setup fee costs. I think that the setup fee is $20, but you only pay that one time, and then the cost of each comic has gone up to like $3.12, I think it is currently, and then you have to have it shipped to you then. So that is another cost that goes on top. So if you're just getting 1, and it's the first one that you do, it's pretty expensive. So it's probably $30 to get that 1, but every one after that is really only $3 and whatever cents, up until it gets so heavy that the shipping starts going up or whatever. So I don't know what it is because I don't have a need to do Kablam anymore. Excuse me. But with Digital Print Universe, he says that you have to spend $20 for the order. So there is a setup fee. It's not as big a setup fee, and then you have to spend $20 or less, or more, sorry, in printing, and then shipping on top of that. But it was cheaper. I have my comic books are 24 pages per book, and that doesn't count the cover. So 24 pages of interior art, and then plus the covers: front cover, inside back cover, and the back cover, if they offer it to you, they sometimes allow, like with mine, they allowed me to leave my thing as advertisement for them. It's not a guarantee, because if your comic looks like garbage, maybe they say it's not worth it to give you a discount per book for advertising on the back of your book. So thankfully, I've not come across that problem, and it saves me. I think it saves me 20 cents a book, something like that, 15, 20 cents per book. So that brings the cost down. So so that's a good question. No, it's and I don't know. I'm sure that those are not the only two on-demand printers that are available. So I know that I priced out an offset print run for my single comic. Let me see if I still have it here. Yeah, let's see. There's a place called Color Vision Limited. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'll just read off here. So I asked how much for a quantity of 500, and they quoted me for a 24-page comic. 500 would cost $2.14 ish per unit, but that came out to $1,000 if I wanted 500 copies shipped to me. That's per issue, and I have 5 issues, so I'd be spending probably $6,000, less than $6,000 maybe with the shipping, for 500 copies of each. Now that doesn't save me too much more than what I'm paying currently at Digital Print Universe. Currently, and I don't know if these prices are negotiated. I just asked them how much it costs, and they spit it out. And I don't know if it's a deal or if it's a standard cost. But with Digital Printing Universe, Digital Print Universe, it's $2.49 per copy. But then you have to pay taxes and you have to pay shipping. Thankfully, they are in Rochester, New York, and I'm a traveling salesman, and I get out to Rochester probably once a month. So I just have to make sure that they have my copies roughly around the time that I have an appointment scheduled. So I save on shipping. So that's just another plus for me to use Digital Print Universe here in Rochester. I live I live about an hour away, hour and a half away, but it's not undoable just because of my work schedule. So, but as you can see here, I don't know if you can see here. Maybe I just here. Let me switch the. Is that any better? Is that any bigger? Let's see if I can get it big enough for you here to be able to see what I'm talking about here. Alright, so I don't know if you can see these numbers, but the same 24-page comic, if I ordered 750 of them, it would be $1.64 or $1.65 pretty much per book. And now you're starting to talk about making some profits on your $5 book. So I do sell them for $5. So if you do the math here, but that still comes out to $1,200. I got to shell out $1,200 and whatever shipping is. And they did give me a price on shipping. I priced out my trade paperback. It's 146 pages, and 1,000 of them would cost me $6.19. But that comes out to a whopping almost $6,200. So that's why I have not pulled the trigger on that. I do not have that money laying around. I mean, I do have that in my savings just because, thankfully, I have saved for a rainy day. But buying trade paperbacks of my comics is not the rainy day that my wife is hoping to spend that money on. So, if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer it for you. I think these are the shipping costs too. I don't want to. You might have seen my address, but anyway, for the shipping of the $500, 500 units. On top of that, $1,071 would have been an additional $100, $110 for the 50 If you go $750, it would 750 units would be 166 in shipping. And this place is in Wisconsin, so there's no sales tax for out-of-state things. So it's not like New York. I don't know where you're from. Osias. Sorry about that. I gotta get better at reading names anyway. But yeah. And then I also priced out, like I said, the cost of what it would cost for trade paperback. And I mean, these are reasonable prices. I sell my trade paperback for $30, and if I could sell it for $25, even better. And that would be fantastic if I could buy it for $4.61 per book, and then I would sell it at $25, and I can make $20 per thing. But because currently I'm making about $10 in profit per set of 5 that I have. So you have to think about these things. Think about how much you want to sell them for, and so there's a cost to all this stuff. So I'll just go back to the Hershey Comic Con and the pluses and minuses of the Hershey Comic Con. There were definitely more pluses than minuses. The minus was that the second day was not as good as the first day, but I walked around the second day, and I had the time to walk around because I had already made back the money for the table, and so part of being an independent comic creator, you want to network, you want to see who's out there doing what. I was actually sandwiched between professionals the whole time. So Riley Brown was on my left, and he's done a bunch of Deadpool stuff, Spider-Man stuff. He's worked for Marvel, DC. He did the Fortnite Batman thing, and he's been working professionally for, gosh, how long have I known him? I've known him from before he was a professional, and that was just tangentially at the Pittsburgh Comic Con years and years ago in 2004, 2005, something like that. I met him and a bunch of the 10-ton guys. It was a great opportunity to meet some of the guys that I've known online only. So that was a plus. That was definitely a plus. Then on the other side, the first day, I sat next to Scott Beatty, who is a writer, and he wrote Batman and all kinds of stuff. Gen 13, he worked for, he's been working for Wizard Magazine. He said he started the Toy Fair magazine that was an offshoot of Wizard Magazine. It was neat to pick his brain a little bit, see what he's doing and what professional comic book creators, how they operate. It seems like, I don't know if there are certainly people who are making a living doing only comic book stuff, but it seems a lot less normal. Most people have like a second job. Like he also teaches, I don't know if it's college or high school or something like that. He teaches writing, And then when he left that first day, the next day I met Bob Wyacek. He's an inker for Marvel and DC. But it was really neat to get to know him and his son. I didn't realize that he had lost his eyesight in 2020. So, but he had a great attitude. He was very hopeful that some of the things that he's doing is going to give him back his sight. But really great to be able to pick his brain and just meet cool people. And I've met people that I've met from other conventions over the years, and you can see them improving, and they're networking with you. They're giving you ideas, what's working for them. They're doing this stuff too. Like we're all finding out that you get on YouTube, you share your knowledge, and people want to hear it for one. But you start building your brand. I hate to use those words, but I was listening to a podcast from Rob Liefeld, and he said he put it in the best way that I had never thought of before. Like I bought Youngblood #1, But Youngblood #1, it was an unproven team book. Nobody knew who Youngblood was. Nobody knew any characters. They didn't know really anything about the book, the story, anything. But it sold over 1 million copies. And so they were really buying the Rob Liefeld brand. So he was proven on other stories, other books before. And so they followed him wherever he went. And he still, if you listen to his podcast, he tells you, even though he has haters, he does fine. He makes lots of money. And he keeps creating stuff, and people say, hey, you swipe this, you swipe that. And he's inspired by stuff, and he defends his swiping. You know, he says that Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, they all swiped scenes and angles from directors that came before them. And they took their ideas and they translated it into whatever they were doing. So, but all that to say that you build your brand, and the easiest way to build your brand is online. You know, there's a lot of free things online that you can do. I think that's another question. Let me get back to you, Osias. So I was checking your comics on the website. Really cool. You have copyright on your characters. So I should really look into it, Osias. I should really look into it, because they are not technically copyrighted. I just have copies of them from way back in 2013. I've heard different things about copywriting. I just don't have the money right now to do it. But as I push people to Alpha Red, it is getting more popular, and I do want to protect my IP. So it is something that I really should look into. So no, I'm glad that you asked, and so maybe you can tell me, as you're creating, I'm assuming that you are a creator, and you've got your character, and you've got your book, and you're thinking, like, what should I be doing? I have not copyrighted my character, but up until now, there was no real interest. I would sell, I don't know, a couple dozen copies a year, just because issue number 5 didn't come out until the beginning of 2023. I took a year off and did almost no comic books in 2023. I was running for a local office. People asked me to run, and I did. So I was kind of out of it until November. And then once I lost, I kind of turned my attention back to Alpha Red, and I was able to kind of seek out the advice of other independent creators. And, you know, lo and behold, here it is, July 1st. And so it's been an 8-month journey. So I don't know what else I have to do other than I'm learning every day. So what I'm learning is that you have to apply what you learn. I guess that's the most important thing, because a lot of us know, you know, there's a lot of head knowledge, but until you step outside your comfort zone, like this is, you know, I'm standing in my office. You know, it's not rocket science, but it's hard to look into a camera. It's hard to, you know, speak into a microphone. You know, it's just not what I do. I am a salesman in real life, so, but I'm a one-on-one guy, and that's my wheelhouse. But I'm not a gabby person. I'm you know, I try to win your trust. I try to work hard for my customers, and they thank me for it. I have a very good reputation as a salesman, as a representative. I know insurance sales is not, it feels slimy, and sometimes it is. I do meet a lot of slimy insurance people, but it's what I do. But that's still out of my comfort zone to be online, to be whatever, because you have to be cautious. You know, I have customers. I still represent my company doing my hobby. So, and I don't know, I put some links in the description below about why I make my comics. There's a video that I've already done on why I make my comics, and it's really not about the money, but I do want to protect my character. So I'll go back to Hershey. So Hershey was just well put together. Joe Figured is the promoter, and I was able to bend his ear on Saturday, that Saturday evening. I mean, I don't even know how. Like all the memories are coming back to my head, and I'm like, I just want to say them all, because I was able to talk to Jim Shooter. Who else did I hang out, say hi to? Bob Wyachek, and just Riley Brown. It was pretty cool to kind of pick his brain about his time as a professional in the industry and what he thinks about current the comic industry, and where his path is as a professional, with some experience, with over a decade of experience. So I was able to bend his ear about some of the concerns I had. Not many. I thanked him for running the show the way that he did, where there's not an overwhelming, whatever the guest list is, the percentage was not overwhelmingly celebrities, celebrities who want lots of money for their autographs, because that sucks all the cash out of the room. If they're paying, and he said on his side too, thousands and thousands of dollars to bring in a top name person, and they come in and they're charging a lot of money for their autographs. So people come in, they see them, they get their autograph, and they leave. And anybody else, any other creators or vendors in the room, are left just kind of paying your table, and the people just walk out. So it's not a good thing for the vendors or the creators. So I thank them for not having an abundance of celebrities. They're sucking the money out of the room. So I wish there was more communication beforehand. It kind of felt like no communication. And then 2 weeks before, he's like, this is what you need to do. This is when you need to be there. This is when you have to set up. So those kinds of things, I wish as a creator would have helped me logistically beforehand, to know that I could get there the day before, and what time the day before, and things like that. He gave 2 weeks. That's reasonable. That's just me being nitpicky. It was a good show. It was a good show in the sense that it wasn't too fast paced, that you felt like you were trying to make money back, and just you had to go from one sale to the next. You had the time to, because it cost me $175 for the table for the 2 days, and as an independent creator, I am looking for ways to save. So I'm thankful for my friends, my church friends. I grew up around there in the Harrisburg area, even though I live in central New York now. I called on some old friends from church, and they allowed me to stay at their house for free, and so that saved me the cost of hotel, and eating was, I don't know, because I have some friends in the area, I was invited to some dinners, and so that saved a lot of money. So that's why I felt like I made enough money on Saturday that I was just kind of walking around networking on Sunday. So what's going on, Crazy John? Thank you, Osh Radio. If you guys aren't subscribed to Osh Radio, I am going to. You reminded me that I have the song, the Alpha Red theme song. So it was such a treat to connect with John at Osh Radio. He is a musician, and he does some cool stuff. And I asked him, could you write a theme song for Alpha Red? So this is a great time, because you're here, because you popped up. So I don't know how else to build it up. And so without further ado, let's listen to what hang on, I'm gonna turn this on. All right, this is the theme song for Alpha Red. Can you believe that Alpha Red? Just imagine you create your character and you think, wouldn't it be cool if he had a cartoon? Wouldn't it be cool if he had a movie or whatever? And then you say, all those things have like a whatever to it, like a, Star Wars has their music and whatever. So I was thinking this could be the intro to a cartoon. So listen up here. I hope it works. Come on, tell me it works. You let me know.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need, with the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread, for the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.
What did you think? How cool is that? How cool is that? Thank you, Crazy John, for that, for the theme song. So I will play it again as we leave. So if you haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you subscribe. I don't know how many subscribers I have now, but I was almost at 100. So do I have 100 yet? I can't tell by looking at this screen. But you could push me over the 100. If you hit that like button, they tell me all kinds of magic happens in the algorithm. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. If you found this useful, share it out. I can continue to talk about. I want to keep going until 9, so I have some time. I do have some comic book recommendations as I spend the rest of the time. But it was great to see Crazy John at the Hershey Comic Con. If you guys don't know, Crazy John Carricks is the Crazy John in the comic. So I forgot, John, to take pictures of your lovely visage. I only have one picture of you from the thing, but to update your look, to try to figure out how to update your look from the current iteration. But where is that comic? But yeah, I had a great time at the Hershey Comic Con, and just because there were less people there the second day, was no there were a lot of people who told me that they made the same amount of money the second day that they did the first day, which was very, very good. even in the second day. I want to show you guys the current status of the book here. So not much has changed really since the last time, but because you're here, and because this isn't just the normal draw stream, you guys might appreciate the update of Alpha Red. Let me change this screen here. All right, so this is a different size than the normal 11 by 17 stuff that the professionals do, but it is ratioed down. I just shrunk the size down. I scaled it down to be the same size, but it's smaller. You're not seeing things. So this is page 1, page 2. Hopefully you can see the preview. I'll probably stop showing you guys as I get closer to the end, because I do want you to get surprised. There's cool things that happen towards the end. I'll show you, up to the point where maybe the villain comes out. This is the villain, sort of. You'll see here in the future here. So there's the obligatory standing around talking to each other to kind of move the plot forward kind of thing. So even as I was talking to Riley Brown, the professional, I said, oh man, I forgot to add like a picture or something back here to make it, make it seem more realistic. He's like, don't worry about it. It looks like there's going to be lots of word balloons here. So even he says he's surprised that there's anything in here, because there doesn't need to be. If there's a lot of information to convey, this is what you would. These are the kinds of pages you would use to do that. So Osiris, I don't know if you're still here, but good luck with New Religion. I'd love to, go ahead and, if you're still here and the chat allows you, you can put a link to your thing. But that's page 5, just kind of moving the story forward a little bit. And then again, as they move the story a little bit about his parents, they come down, they get new gadgets, and they figure out how to use the new gadgets because they're going to come in handy to save the day at the end of the issue. So page 8 is still in pencil, and I brought it with me to Hershey, which maybe I shouldn't have done because it was cramped into my bag and it bent the thing there. So, but this is a continuation of page 4. It jumps back to show you what happened. This is what that happens, but it jumps into this part of the story that they combine together and become the actual villain. So I will show you some things that I've been reading. That I recommend here. So I'm starting to read more independent comics as I am an independent comic creator. I am actually drawn more to the independent stuff because there's not much that the mainstream is doing that is really getting me excited. So I forgot that I had ordered these from an Alterna crowdfunding thing. So when these came in, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And these were so fun. So Unit 44, I heard the creator talk about it like it's X-Files, but like a comedy X-Files. And the reason why I want to show you is because I forgot that I did this. I forgot that as Peter Smetty was saying that he was shipping stuff out and he wanted to give everybody a preview, he flipped once, twice, and then boom, Alpha Red. I forgot that I had paid to have an ad for Alpha Red put into the crowdfunder. That was one of the things that you could pay to have your ad in their book, and so it was relatively cheap. I want to say it was on sale. It was 40, then it was 30, and maybe I paid 20 or 25. I forget. But hopefully, I don't know if that's going to move the needle or not. But this is what the ad looks like. Alpha Red. It says right here, when Satan goes missing, an ordinary man must rise up and become the hero who finds him and stops him from taking over the world. www.alpharedcomic.com. Order today. So when you're making ad copy, make sure you tell people what you want them to do. The final action step is to buy the comic. Order it today. That is one of the things that you want to make sure you don't forget when you're coming up with it. You make it exciting. You make it very, you give them all the information that they need. And I'm pretty confident with my artwork, so I think that sells. I get a lot of reaction from it. So the bigger the better. And then my sons tell me that the QR codes, the kids do the QR codes, so that just takes you to alpharedcomic.com. And then I show you my social medias, my Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, and here on YouTube. And I'm at Alpha Red Comic on all of those things. So not only did I do it for the one, but apparently I paid to have the comic advertised in both issues of Unit 44. And it's just the same ad. I'm sure it's in here. Yeah, it's on the other side. And with newsprint, I noticed that there's a difference in quality, in the brightness of it, even in the ads. So as much as I want to see Alpha Red in newsprint, just because it was, that's how I grew up reading comics. So Pete tells me all the time that it's kind of inconsistent, but that's the fun of it. So you can't really see it on camera here because the camera's bad, but this is a very bright red, and this is more of a muted kind of it's still red, but there is a difference, and I'm sure it was printed by the same people on the same day, but the print quality is what it is. Another one that I like, Alan Quatermain and the Tomb of the Hephaestus. So it's written and drawn by a buddy of mine, Chris Ring, from the 10 Ton Studio guys. I've known Chris for 29 years. We figured it out. Roughly 29 years, 29 years. So I've known him longer than I've known my wife. That's a small joke there. But that was a really good read, and I hope he continues. He said it was just a one-shot, but it can easily be a series. I've enjoyed everything from Skybound. This is the Skybound. This is the image imprint. This just happens to be the Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander was probably the most violent one, and the one that I would probably least recommend. But I mean, it's still cool. They're very well written. If I was to not recommend one, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just a little bit more violent, just out of my taste range. But Transformers also a good buy, a good read. So I hope you guys give that a chance. They're up to like issue number 9 or 10 or something like that. It has not disappointed yet. But there is the first disappointment. I mentioned it in previous weeks, was Scarlet #1, and not that it was a terrible comic book. It just didn't feel like Scarlet. Like she was a ninja. Like I don't remember her being a ninja. She has a crossbow, and like how she finds the crossbow is like very too convenient. So any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions before I sign off? I did start 5 minutes late. I do apologize. I was here. I was talking. I just didn't hit the go live button. So I don't want to jip you. There's 5 more minutes. If you want to sneak in a question, I'm happy to answer. But yeah, if you go back, if you haven't subscribed already, I know I mentioned it once already, but they tell me that the more you do it, the more people are willing to subscribe. and sometimes you catch me like towards the end here, and you go back and watch from the beginning. But I forgot to ask you in the beginning to subscribe. Actually, you know what I wanted to do was possibly read some of, maybe I'll set it up for next time a little bit better. But people are so kind with their comments, and I just want to thank you. Please leave a comment. It really helps share it with other people. I noticed that if you leave a comment, even just a quick well done, or even, maybe you just complain. You say what you said was useless. I am by no means an expert. I just have created 5 comics that I've printed, and I'm getting them into the hands of people via the internet, via comic conventions, and so I feel like I have a little bit of experience that I can share with you that can hopefully inspire you to do it yourself, because it's fun. It's I have the links in the comments of the videos that I made as to why I do it and what other. So I link to Peter Smetty's printing live stream, and then there was another one that I linked to that I was going to talk about, but it's in the comments as well. So I hope you found this interesting. I'd love to do more, answer any more questions that you might have. I got into the nitty-gritty of the pricing and stuff, so hopefully that kind of gives you a better idea of what it takes to create an independent comic, and hopefully it inspires you and not scares you, and just gives you a more realistic look on what it takes and what the outcome is. So I'm going to play the theme song one more time, and then I'm going to go into the outro. So it's your next Comic Con. Sorry if you said earlier. I did not say earlier, Crazy John. My next Comic Con will be in Schnecksville, PA, and that is August 10th, I believe. August 10th. If you go to LehighValleyComicCon.com, I don't know if the website is updated yet. Last time I checked, it was not, but I will be the featured artist at the Schnecksville Lehigh Valley Con in August. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for being there. If you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Please leave a comment. Leave a comment on what you want to see next. Any questions that you might have. There's no stupid question. Like I said, I know it's probably feels stupid to put it right in the comments in front of everybody, but a lot of people are wondering the same thing. So no question too stupid to answer when it comes to creating independent comics. I'm here to help, and hopefully my journey inspires you. So I'm going to play the theme song because I love it, and then after the theme song, I'm going to hit the outro. I just want to thank you. So I'm going to say grace, peace.
From the shadows he rises with courage in his heart, a beacon of hope. He's ready to start with faith as his armor and a fire in his soul. Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission long and hope seems so far. Look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget. The world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.